Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys can see me and hear me okay. I just wanted to pop in real quick and say hi to my people and let you guys know that I hope you're having a happy Thanksgiving or whatever you celebrate. Maybe you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, but I'm not mad at you if you do. I wanted to come in real quick and kind of give you an update on a lot of you have been following the story of Shanquella Robinson. And give me a yes in the chat if you are aware, if you've been following and paying attention to what's going on. Shanquella is a young black woman, 25 years old, who was in Mexico. And apparently she had the wrong friends. They somehow she ended up dead in this hotel room. And her mother and father have been trying desperately to find out what happened. A lot of people lied, I guess, because they were scared to go to jail. And a video emerged of Shanquella being beaten up pretty bad by one of her so-called friends. Well, anyway, there has been an update in this case. Before, her friends were saying she died of alcohol poisoning, and that was all a bunch of BS. Well, apparently now the Mexican authorities have announced that they have put out an arrest warrant for someone to be locked up for her death. They did not mention who was on the warrant or who the suspect is, but I imagine it probably has something to do with that video. That video was pretty disturbing and it was really sad to watch. And whoever that person was, they were just beating her really bad. I mean, punching and kicking and hitting her and kicked her in the face and all this other crazy stuff. And I know if I was a parent, I'd be very disturbed by what I saw in that video. And so justice hopefully will be served for this family. And it looks like Mexico and the United States are working together to coordinate the investigation. The FBI got involved. I know that also there were also some other reports that she was alive for a long time. That she was alive actually the next day, and they came in to help her, and they said she had too much to drink. And when they said well, she needs to go to the hospital, the people in the room said, no, 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 don't take her to the hospital. And I'm guessing, here's what I'm guessing. I'm guessing that what probably occurred is everybody in that situation knew they were in trouble. I'm willing to bet that it was really one rogue person who who just beat this poor girl until she was dead or broke her neck or she was almost dead or really messed up. And other people were accomplices in the sense that they enabled this to happen, right? You had the one person standing there holding the video camera, which is kind of crazy. You're sitting there filming one of your friends kicking another one of your friends in the face. Like, that's just kind of strange. And um and so I'm guessing that it probably hit them to make them say, you know, like, gosh, like what's the deal in terms of, like knowing that they're going to go to prison in Mexico, right? And I think that they probably felt that going to prison in Mexico would be pretty traumatizing. And I would imagine out of fear, they just built on top of the lie. So, I'll say this. It makes me sad. It really, I mean, again, I'm looking at this as a parent, not as I'm not a youth. I'm not a 25-year-old. I'm 51. 25 means you're young enough to be my child. And what I see is I see bad decision making, not just because when you're young, you're kind of stupid anyway, to be honest with you. When I was young, I did stupid stuff. We all did stupid stuff when we were in our 20s. Not this stupid, but stupid stuff. And then number two, when I saw all that alcohol, you know, to me, I just wish we had a culture. Like when people talk about the culture, I hate the fact that the culture encourages young people to do things that are going to mess their lives up. I really hate this. I see, because I'm a logical person. I've seen some things. I've seen people go to prison for 30 years because of things that they did while they were drunk. I've seen people get a little high, smoke a little something, drink a little something because they think that's what everybody's doing. And then next thing you know, somebody done got raped, somebody done got beat, somebody done got shot. I remember when I was in my 20s, I didn't go to the club because I knew too many guys who had been shot or sent to prison based on something that happened in the club. And I just really think that that's something we got to kind of talk about. Like I really feel like, don't get me wrong. I mean, they're criminals. They deserve the punishment, and I'm glad that Shanquella's getting justice. But I like to look beyond the basic stuff. I don't like to walk around with the assumption that all these young people were all a bunch of reckless, stupid thugs that deserve to be in a Mexican prison for the next 20 years. I don't look at it like that. I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but I don't. I look at them all as dumbass young people who were just doing some stupid ass shit. That's what I really see. That's just what I see. And I'm just going to tell you, alcohol is dangerous, man. Like, alcohol is so dangerous. And I'm not saying you shouldn't drink. I'm not judging that. I'm saying when you drink to the point where you're not making good decisions, it will lead you to do the dumbest shit ever. I know good people who got drunk and they just got behind the wheel thinking it wasn't nothing. And I was like, well, what if you hit somebody? Like, what if you killed a whole family, because you're not thinking about the consequences of your choices. And I've seen that. There's a guy that played for the Raiders. He got in his car. He was doing something a lot of young 23-year-old guys do with a pocket full of money, and he got drunk and he drove his car 100 miles an hour down the Vegas Strip, and he ended up killing a young mother. Like, he hit this lady so hard that her whole body just blew up. Like, the whole scene was on fire. So this guy's going to go to prison for a long time. And it's sad to me because I don't believe that this guy necessarily, if you ask him, like, do you want to get in the car and drive 100 miles an hour and run over a young mother with a baby and kill them and then go to prison for the next 50 years and have people look at you as a killer? He'd probably say, no, that's terrible. You see what I mean? I hope you get what I'm saying. I hope everybody's hearing this, and I admit I'm going into Uncle Boyce mode. I hope that's okay. I hope it's all right. I hope I don't sound presumptuous or anything like that. I'm not trying to be. I'm just trying to help somebody, man. I'm hoping somebody will hear this. Maybe somebody who's young. Maybe you'll tell your friends. Maybe you can talk to some of your friends about this. But these are serious conversations. The problem is with social media is you got too many old people trying to fit in with stupid shit. You got too many old people that are in their 40s and 50s that should be giving advice. They should be giving mentorship. They should be giving you the game on life. But instead, they're so worried about being old that they're out here doing dumbass TikTok dances and just going along with whatever's trendy. I'm not interested in going along with what's trendy because what's trendy will get you killed. Sometimes you make a decision and you put yourself in a situation where you can't get that back. You can't go backward and redo what you did, and people will label you for the rest of your life. Like, think about this. Imagine if you were just a regular you're a good person, right? You're 25 years old. You're like, okay, my friends are going to Cabo. They all gonna get lit. I'm just gonna go do what my friends did, and you're just there. You just got your first job. You got a relationship back home. Maybe you're planning on having a baby one day, and next thing you know, the whole internet, the whole world has labeled you as a murderer. Like, you were an accomplice in the death of somebody that was your friend before the trip even took place. And you got to live with that. Like, that's not going to go away. Like 20 years from now, they're going to be like, oh yeah, you were part of the mob that murdered Shanquella Robinson. Oh, you're a bad person. And you 50 years old and you trying to move past it. People are still judging you based on that. You know, and it's something I remember noticing even back when Tupac was alive. I knew Tupac was going to die. I knew this. I watched Tupac's life when he was alive, when he was actually breathing. He was the same age as me. Tupac and Ice Cube. I've met Ice Cube. Ice Cube is a friend of mine. Ice Cube's birthday is right near my birthday. We're about the same age. Tupac's birthday is close to my birthday, too. I think he's a Gemini like me. So I followed Tupac and Ice Cube because I was young and I was paying attention to what was trendy. But I remember noticing back then and saying to my friends, I said, I think this dude's going to be dead. He ain't going to live that long. Like, this shit going on. What I saw him getting caught up in the culture. Like you think that it makes sense because it's popular and because maybe you're making money from it, or maybe people are just cheering you on, and they cheer you on until you're in a casket. Then they move on from past your dead body. They move on from your memory. Like, so they cheer you on, and then when you're dead, they just move on. Or when you get locked up and go to prison for 20 years, they move on. They act like you're just dead, like you're gone, like you don't exist anymore. So I tell you what, 25, I agree. When you're 25, you're not a child, but in my mind, you kind of still are. They Hold on, there we go. Let me know if you can hear me and see me okay. But literally when you're 25, your brain, you literally just grew your brain. Did y'all know that? Like 21-year-olds, whatever, their brains are not even fully developed yet. Look it up. So I'm not sitting here saying that they shouldn't get punished. I'm not saying that there should be penalties for what happened here. I'm just looking at the environment. You see, culture, the environment around you creates the activities of the people that are in that environment. For example, if I'm in prison culture, like for like right now, I'm a professor, right? When I'm in a scholarly culture, when I'm in a scholarly environment, I become more scholarly. I start using longer words. I start thinking more deeply about concepts. I start behaving like a professor because that's what I am. That I have a PhD in finance. You guys know this. But if I was in prison culture, oh, I would become a straight nigga. Like I would literally be like I'd be trying to like sharpen the spoons in case somebody tried to shank me. I'd be on survival mode. I would be trying to get gang affiliated so I could survive in the prison culture. I would literally start thinking like a prison inmate because that's required for me to fit in and for me to survive. So I will still be a little bit of a scholar, but I'm not going to walk around doing scholarly shit if I'm in a prison. You understand? So the culture around you shapes your behavior. That's my point. You know, my wife is a therapist. You guys know this, and we talk about these things all the time. The culture around you shapes you. So, what the advice I would give, and you can take it with a grain of salt. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to listen. But the advice I would give is to be very conscious about what culture you attach yourself to. What culture do you connect to? Do you want to be around? You know, and I think the culture that you're around should be connected to the person that you want to be, right? Like if your culture is like going to the club culture and party all night culture, then you're going to start doing things that are consistent with that culture. That's going to bring that side out of you. If your culture is church culture and you up in church all the time and everybody's singing holy, praise Jesus all the time, that's going to bring out the Holy Spirit in you. You know what I mean? If you're in thug culture, it's going to bring out the thug in you, right? So find the culture that's going to work for you and get in that culture. Like for example, I've got when I was single, I had a single man culture. I could do what a single man could do. I was a famous man with lots of money, and I was single, so I did things then that I would not do now. Then I got to a point where I said, I don't want to be in the single culture anymore. I want to be in a married culture. I want to be a husband and a dad. I want to get into that culture. So now I'm in that culture where that sort of behavior is incentivized. Talking to the kids and going to soccer practice and being, going on date night with your wife. That brings out a whole nother side of me to the point where my friends were like, Boyce, you're different now. You're different. I'm like, yeah, I'm different because I'm in a different culture. I consciously made the decision to put myself in a different space. So let's go back to the Shanquella Robinson thing, which, by the way, in case you just got in, hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done it yet. If you could please hit the thumbs up button and also subscribe to the channel if this is of interest to you, and hit the notification bell. That's really important. The notification bell means you'll be notified when we jump in and talk about stuff. And my website is boycewatkins.com. So if you want to know more about stuff we have going on, you can feel free to go to my website. But basically what I would say with Shanquella, in case you didn't know, in case you just came in, they're going to actually arrest somebody. They actually issued an arrest warrant, which I think is obviously, that's to be expected. I kind of thought at some point that they would. And what's fascinating is that, or interesting, is that it was the Mexican authorities that did this. It was in their jurisdiction. So it could be the case that they could go pick up one of her friends, extradite that person to Mexico. They face trial in Mexico. That's a big problem, especially when you killed an American citizen at a Mexican resort. When you killed an American citizen at a tourist resort, you're going to get punished severely. You're going to get punished severely because you're messing with the money. When tourists they do not spend money going to resorts where people are being killed. They do not spend money going to places where there is violence. So in places like Mexico, when an American gets killed, that case moves right to the top of the priority list. It ain't about black and white at that point. It's like, oh, you're an American and you got killed. Oh, we got to get to the bottom of this because we need our tourists to feel safe. So what's going to probably occur, which is very sad to me, is that whoever they locked up, whoever they decide to issue the warrant for, that person's going to get a pretty heavy penalty. And it's going to send a signal to say, look, you don't come killing Americans at our resorts. Because if you do that, you're going to be punished because you're messing with our money. So ultimately, that's the part that kind of makes me a little bit sad. I'm gonna guess that the reason that they all got together and lied about this is because they all had a logical fear of Mexican prisons. I also don't believe that this was like a premeditated thing. I don't think they said, let's go on vacation so we can kill our friend. I don't think that was part of the plan. Alcohol makes its own plans. That's the thing. Alcohol makes its own plan. So basically, when you go, this is one of the reasons I'm not preaching. I promise you, I'm not preaching, but I'm gonna preach. I'm gonna preach, but I'm really not preaching. I'm gonna preach, but I'm really not preaching. The reason I never drank alcohol was because at a very early age, and I had a lot of alcoholics in my family. I saw a lot of people make bad choices when it came to alcohol. The reason I chose to never drink was because I said when I'm making the critical decisions in my life that I have to make as a black man, where I'm trying to stay alive and not go to prison, I want to be in my right mind. I do not fucking want to wake up in a goddamn jail cell because I did some shit that I don't even remember doing because I'm trying to fit into the culture. And I'm not telling you on any level, I'm not judging you. If you drink, keep drinking. I'm not judging it at all. I just, the fact that you're listening hopefully means that you can at least hear what I'm saying. Even if you disagree, we can just agree to disagree. It's okay. I promise you, I'm not trying to be overly preachy, but I feel like I have to say this. You don't have to do the dumb shit that you see other people doing. There are people out here that are just stupid. There are people out here that are just, don't know who they are. People who don't know who they are, they just follow the crowd. And so, what I want to encourage you to do is don't let me tell you who you are. You decide who you are and you be that person and you commit to that. Because if you commit to who you are, then when you see somebody doing something stupid, you're going to be like, nah, I'm not doing that. That's not me. Like a young person she's not super young, but she's slightly over 30. Akila Honda. She's a young rapper, and I love Akila. I think she's so great. You got to check her music out. She's absolutely the best. But Akila, I like Akila. I like talking to her because she just knows who she is. Like you can't get her to like go over here and do something stupid with you because Nation of Islam from birth told her who she was, and that's how she carries herself. She's like a rock, whereas a lot of people are not rocks, they're leaves. They blow whichever way the wind blows. They see a stupid TikTok dance come along and they do the TikTok dance because everybody else is doing it. And so I'm just encouraging you, and I think this is really important as black people because there's so many dangers, there's so many traps that are set for you. There are traps, especially when you're a black man. Man, they got booby traps. Your whole damn shit is booby trap from birth. Your life is booby trap from birth, brother. Like your whole life is booby trap from birth. So when you got all these booby traps around you, you can't navigate the booby traps without being conscious. You can't navigate the booby traps without being aware. And I'm gonna tell you, what Malcolm X used to say that the white man will sell you the liquor bottle and then he'll lock you up for being drunk. That's entrapment. They will trap you. You talk about the trap, you rap about the trap, you brag about the trap. I don't want to be in the trap. But seriously, they will trap you. They will sell you the liquor. They'll say, drink it up. Yeah, have fun. Woo! You go to college. I taught on college campuses for a lot of years. I fought with faculty at Syracuse University because I said, why are you encouraging all these young people to get drunk every weekend? Why do you act like that's normal? Do you understand how many people get killed from this shit? Do you understand how many rapes happen? How many kids go to prison? It bothers me when I see a 19-year-old do something that they're doing because no adult stepped in and said, don't do that. That's stupid. They never had anybody tell them. So they do it. And then next thing you know, the consequences come in. And this poor little kid done got 20 years in prison because he didn't understand when you're 19, your brain is already somewhat irrational. When you mix alcohol in there, next thing you know, you done did some shit out of character and you're paying for the rest of your life. And you're being judged for the rest of your life. You're 40 years old now. People are still judging you on shit you did when you were young. Chris Brown, right now, Chris Brown got banned from the AMAs, basically. He had an excellent, amazing Michael Jackson tribute that he was going to do. I saw the video. It was amazing. Super talented. Chris Brown got kicked out of the AMAs this year because of shit that happened 13 years ago with Rihanna. They literally just dug it up and they were like, Oh, by the way, he did this stuff with Rihanna in 2009, so we're gonna cancel him, right? That's what happens. You're taking all this, you get all this money and status from white folks, and they can go back and dig up your shit from when you were a damn look. Chris Brown was like 19 years old at the time. He's a dad. He's gonna be a grandfather in a few years, and you're still judging him on stuff that happened way back then. That's life, though. That's life. That's life, man. You know, and you can be judged positively or negatively by the things you did when you were young. You know, when like for example, when Ice Cube came in, I was fascinated by how this guy's 50 years old and he's still able to benefit and live off of things that he did when he was 19 or 20 years old. I think that's a good thing, but he's also going to be criticized for that. People are going to be like, well, you started this gangster shit. You said it yourself in a song. I started this gangster shit. Now look at what this gangster shit has done. Now look at this culture that you helped to create. This is the problem. You got some cleaning up to do, man. Same thing with my own life. I think about things I did when I was 20. I benefit from things I did when I was 20. I talk about finance now. I started studying finance when I was 19 years old. I benefit now from things I did when I was 19 or 20, but I also pay a price for things I did when I was 19 or 20. When I was 18, I had a baby, I had sex, and I got a girl pregnant. So I paid child support for 18 years. To this day, I have a child from choices I made when I was 18, 19 years old. So what I'm saying to you is like, never let anybody lull you to sleep when it comes to this game called life. Don't let anybody lull you to sleep and make you fall into the illusion that following the crowd is going to end well for you, or that the crowd is going to have your back when the consequences come home to roost. Never let anybody trick you into thinking that those people that are with you when you're doing stupid shit or dirt or bad situations are going to have your back when it all falls apart. They're not. They're not. You might do it as a group, but you're going to deal with the consequences by yourself. Every friend you have that goes and does dirt with you 9 times out of 10 is going to cut you off the minute you become toxic. So with Shanquella, that's what I see. I see a group of friends who are now really kind of confused by the fact that they have pretty much been vilified by the entire earth for participating or being an accomplice or an enabler or a standby person while their friend got killed. So as far as the world goes, you just as guilty as the person who kicked her in the face, because you sitting there holding the damn phone talking about, Shanquella, you need to fight back. I would have either jumped in to help my friend, or I would have left the room. I'd have been like, I'm getting the fuck up out of here. I don't want to have no parts of whatever the hell's going on in here. Because when the police come in here, when those Mexican police come in here and lock up a pack of Negroes, everybody's going to jail. Everybody's getting prosecuted. So ultimately, you got to have that discernment, and you got to teach that to your kids. I don't know if we teach that to our kids. I think we just don't have real life conversations, and I like having real life conversations with you because I've seen some real life. There's got to be some benefit to being 51 years old. You get older, you get fat. I got to run. I ran 5 miles with my wife today just so I don't get fat. When you get older, you got to work out and do stuff just to stay in good shape. Because when you're young, it's easy. When you get older, you got to fight for that shit, right? So I'm like, okay, maybe one of the benefits of being 51 is that I can share some things with you that will help you to avoid a bad choice or a bad situation. And that's why I'm having this conversation today. I have no idea who's going to be offended by it. Honestly, I can't say that I care that much. It's just out there. And I wish Shanquella's family the best. I wish these young people the best. I hope they all learned a lesson. I believe that they did. And some of them are going to have consequences that are a little bit heavier than others. And that all makes me sad. So if you ask me, if you say, well, what is Dr. Boyce's summary in terms of how he feels about the Shanquella Robinson situation, is I just feel sad because I don't believe that any people in that group were trying to be bad people. Even the person that kicked her in the face. I know that's weird to say, but even that person was probably drunk and shit. And when you get drunk, you just do dumb stuff, So just please be careful. Please be careful. And I just want you to make good choices in your life, whatever that means for you. Okay, so anyway, that's it, guys. I hope this conversation was helpful to some of you. I appreciate you for listening. If you could you hit that thumbs up button on your way out and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it? and hit the notification bell. The notification bell is really important because they shadow ban channels when you get a little bit too black, and I need to be able to make sure we can get in touch with each other. So make sure you hit the notification bell. And also, you can go to boycewatkins.com. As you know, in the Black Business School, we love to talk about Black wealth. My PhD's in finance. We have we developed a financial therapy program in the Black Business School because Black people need therapy. So I've been partnering with therapists in the Black community so that we can get the healing that we need, so we can get past the barriers that block us from reaching our potential as it pertains to Black wealth and success and everything else. A lot of us have barriers that come from our trauma or from just the environment we grew up in and all that. So we're really fighting the culture. So I've gathered some of the smartest Black people I know, and we have created the first ever Black financial therapy department in the Black Business School. And my wife is my number one partner with this, because you can't, as a Black man, you can't do nothing great without a Black woman by your side. So shout out to all the great Black women who make us greater. And you can feel free, you can learn more about it by going to boycewatkins.com. That's my website. So God bless you guys. Have a wonderful day. Happy Thanksgiving, or whatever you want to call it. I will see you guys soon. Love you. Peace out.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to co-sign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.